very good evening and welcome to World Now at 4. I am Peace Ogenegbawe. First, let's talk the headlines. On the headlines, FG hints on bursary allowances as NUC celebrates WTD. 5 dead in fighting between armed groups. On international scene, Italy's far right on course to win election. And on sports, watch for the points Croatian sack Rob Edwards. Now, the news in detail. Nigeria's Federal Ministry of Education has today noted that the ongoing strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, that is ASU, has hindered the payment of bursary to students of education in universities. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Andrew Adejo, who represented the Minister of Education, Adamu, made this known during the 2022 World Teachers' Day press briefing held in Abuja, the nation's capital. It will be recalled that in 2021, President Muhammadu Buhari had promised to release bursaries to students studying education in universities and colleges of education.
I must state that the national implementation of the new national teacher policy has commenced, and to also state in his goodwill message the NUT requested that it should commence. Sir, I'm telling you that it has commenced at the national level, and we are using this opportunity to implore states to make sure it also commences. We know it has commenced in some states and it's going to commence in all the states. And again, most importantly is the support to giving bursary awards to all students of education. As a matter of fact, for that one, the Ministry of Education is going to try and start commencing this year. It's the current strike now that has not been able to give us the total picture because there are students reading education in the universities. For the colleges of education, we already have that data. Even for the universities, we have about 70% of the data. So at least for
also speaking during the briefing, President of Nigerian Union of Teachers noted that it would continue to contribute to the nation's building. The union made this known through its president, Titus Amba, during the press briefing held at the Federal Secretariat in Abuja. Amba thanked the regime of Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari over activities which he said have continued to give teachers hope.
I wish to specially thank His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari GCFR for sustaining the President Teachers and School Excellence Award, which has helped to grow to help the teachers and promote the dignity of the teaching profession. The Nigerian Union of Teachers remain grateful to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for signing into law the harmonized retirement age for teachers in Nigeria Bill, which provides for retirement of teachers on attainment of 65 years or 40 years of pensionable service, and look forward.
The theme for this year's World Teachers' Day celebration is "The Transformation of Education Begins with Teachers," and it is to be celebrated on October 5, 2022. Meanwhile, the federal government, through the National Universities Commission, has ordered vice-chancellors of striking universities to reopen schools and allow students resume lectures. This was made known in a letter signed by the Director of Finance and Accounts of the NUC, Sam Onazi, on behalf of the Executive Secretary of the Commission, Abubakar Rashid. The letter, which was made available to newsmen in the early hours of today, was addressed to all vice-chancellors, pro-chancellors, and chairmen of governing councils of federal universities. It was reported last week that the National Industrial Court of Nigeria on Wednesday ordered the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, to call off its ongoing nationwide strike, which began since February 14. Moving away from there, military veterans under the aegis of the retired members of Nigerian Armed Forces and Coalition of Concerned Military Veterans staged the third phase of their protest over the non-payment of their security debarment allowance, among others, at the Ministry of Defense in Abuja today. The protesters pitched a tent and blocked access to the Ministry of Defense located at Ship House on Olusegun Obasanjo Way in the country's capital city. The retired military man had, in January this year, picketed the Ministries of Finance, Defense and the National Assembly earlier in pursuit of the same demand. The National Secretary, Remenaf Roy Okidebie, who spoke to correspondents during Monday's protest, noted that the demonstrations was to demand the payment of the security debarment allowance owed them by the federal government, adding that the Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Magashi, retired, had refused to disburse the allowance despite approval by Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari's regime. Nasarawa Police Command has confirmed an assassination attempt on the immediate past Commissioner for Environment and Natural Resources, Honorable Musa Ibrahim. Nasarawa Police spokesman Raham Nansel confirmed that the incident happened on September 21, 2022, and investigation has commenced as effort is ongoing to arrest the perpetrators of the act. Ibrahim, who is House of Assembly candidate of New Nigerian People's Party, that is NNPP, for Doma South constituency, survived a gunman attack after donating relief materials to victims of floods in his constituency. When the news returns, we get to news from other parts of Africa. Do stay with us. Welcome back. A group of armed men and women in the western Libyan city of Zawiya clashed on Sunday night, killing 5 people and wounding 13 others, according to emergency services. Local media also has the news that the clashes, including heavy weapons, were between 2 groups officially affiliated with the Ministries of Defense and Interior in the heart of the city, located about 40 kilometers from the capital, Tripoli. The ambulance and rescue service reported 5 dead, including a 10-year-old girl and 13 injured. The clashes come at a time when the North African country is going through a serious political crisis against the backdrop of chronic insecurity marked by recurrent fighting between armed groups. 2 governments have been fighting for power since March, one based in Tripoli and led by Abdelhamid Dbeibah, and another led by Fathi Bachanga and supported by the camp of Marshal Khalifa Haftar, the strongman of the East. At the end of August, fighting between rival militias in Tripoli left 32 people dead and 159 people wounded as a result of this political tug of war. Libya has been plunged into chaos since the fall of Muammar Gaddafi's regime in 2011, plagued by power struggles and regional divisions. 3 people have died and scores were injured after a 6-story building collapsed in Kiambu, central Kenya. Kenya's national broadcaster reported that it is not immediately clear what caused the building to collapse. However, rescue efforts are underway and emergency workers have managed to pull a child from the rubble. Kiambu County Governor Kimani Mantangi said several others have also been rescued, but sadly some are said to have succumbed to their injuries. Building collapses in Kenya have in the past been blamed on poor structural designs or sloppy constructions. However, eyewitnesses said it fell onto an adjacent building, and it is not known how many people are still under the debris. Soldiers, workers from Kenya Red Cross, and National Youth Service personnel, as well as local volunteers, are all at the scene to rescue people. Let's now take a walk down to world news, But that will be after this break. Just stay with World Now at 4 on Hills TV. Welcome back. Far-right leader Giorgia Meloni has claimed victory in Italy's election and is on course to become the country's first female prime minister. Meloni is widely expected to form Italy's most right-wing government since World War II. That will be an alarm to much of European countries, as Italy is the European Union's third biggest economy. However, speaking after the vote, Meloni said her Brothers of Italy party would govern for everyone and would not betray people's trust. She is said to win 26% of the vote based on provisional results, ahead of a closest rival, Enrico Letta, from the center-left. Letta told reporters on Monday that the far-right victory was a sad day for Italy and Europe, but his party would provide a strong and intransigent opposition. Meloni's right-wing alliance, which also includes Matteo Salvini's far-right League and former PM Silvio Berlusconi's centre-right, Forza Italia, will take control of both the Senate and the Chamber of Deputies with around 44% of the vote. Meanwhile, in central Russia, it has been a dark day as gunmen has opened fire at a school, killing at least 13 people and injuring 21. Russian officials say victims include 7 children at the school of about 1,000 pupils in the city of Hizevsk. The gunman killed himself at the scene, and he was identified as a former pupil of the school. Some footage showed blood on the classroom floor and bullet hole in a window, with children crouching down underneath desks. 7 children and 6 adults were killed, including 2 security guards and 2 teachers, according to reports. Staff and pupils have been evacuated from the school buildings, and one local MP said the attacker, named Artem Kazantsev, had been armed with 2 pistols. A video posted online by the investigative committee shows the gunman lying dead on the floor wearing a T-shirt with a Nazi symbol and a balaclava. Investigators are searching for a place in that investigation. Let's now move to business news after this break. Just stay with us. Welcome back. Data obtained from the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, that is NEC, has shown that fresh licenses and permits have been issued to 37 companies to produce a total of 762.3 megawatts of electricity in order to boost power supply across the country. An analysis of the Commission's latest fourth quarter 2021 report on Sunday also indicated that the metering of power users dropped by 71.86% when compared to the number of those who were metered by power distribution companies in the preceding quarter. In another development, the DISCOs have also come out to say that there's been a shutdown of the national grid at about 10:52 a.m. this morning. However, work is on with the TCNs to make sure that light is being restored to other parts of Nigeria. We now move to Kenya, where the President, William Ruto, has said he is open to buying fuel from Russia, despite several countries refusing to engage with Moscow since the invasion of Ukraine. The newly sworn-in President of Kenya said he is considering all available options. Kenya is facing a deepening economic crisis, sending the price of food and fuel soaring. Despite rising fuel prices, Ruto defended his decision last week to scrap some fuel subsidies. He said they were unsustainable and prone to abuse. And in the United Kingdom, pound has fallen to a record low against the dollar as markets react to the UK's biggest tax cut in 50 years. As London Bridge keeps falling, the sterling fell close to $1.03 in the early hours of today, before regaining some ground to stand at $1.08. Chancellor Kwesi Kwarteng has promised more tax cuts on top of the £45 billion package he announced on Friday, amidst expectations borrowing will surge. The cost of UK government borrowing climbed and markets speculated about an emergency interest rate rise. The rate rise in September was the 7th in a row and took rates to the highest for 14 years. We now join Richard Badung as we get into the sports stories. Do stay with us.
Thank you so much, Peace. Good evening and welcome to Sport News on World Now at 4. I am Richard Badung. After a week delay, the Spanish Iberdrola finally resumed, and it was a smooth return for Nigeria's Super Falcons star, Asisat Oshoala. The skillful forward, who had been ruled out of action since July due to an injury she sustained at the 2022 Women's African Cup of Nations in Morocco against South Africa in the first game. Oshoala returned to the team's starting lineup on Sunday evening in their first game against Villarreal. Oshoala, on her return, scored the second goal of the game after Maria Leon netted the opening goal for the away side in the 26th minute of the first half, which ended in their favor. The Recio reduced the deficit for the home side in the 56th minute, and Oshoala almost scored the third goal in the 63rd minute, but a header was saved by Villarreal's goalkeeper. The Nigerian international, who won the top scorer award in the league last season, was later replaced in the 66th minute before Claudio Pina made it 1-3 in the 75th minute. Lara Mata sealed the game in the 85th minute from the penalty and secured maximum points for the away side. And away from that, two-time Olympic winner Kenyan Eliud Kipchoge, who has beaten his personal best and set a new world record in Sunday's Berlin Marathon, crossing the line in just 2 hours, 1 minute and 9 seconds. He shaved 30 seconds off his previous best, and after the race said he was in it to win.
I was planning to go to it with a 60-50, 60-40, but all in all, my legs were running actually very fast, and I thought, let me just try to run 2 hours flat. But all in all, I'm happy with the performance. My legs are still more, and I hope. The
37-year-old from Nandi County in Kenya ran the first half of the race in 59 minutes, 51 seconds, prompting speculation he may be the first person officially to break the 2-hour barrier, although conditions in the German capital were ideal for a first race with temperatures around 11 degrees Celsius and no rain or wind. Away from this story now, let's take you down to England, where Liverpool right back Trent Alexander-Arnold has not been included in England's match day squad for Monday's Nations League action against Germany. Alexander-Arnold, who missed last year's Euros through injury, has made just one international appearance this year and was an unused substitute in Friday's defeat by Italy. Speaking on the players who will be out, England manager Gareth Southgate said his side has not been quite impressive as the team has needs more to be the best.
Look, I'm the manager, and the results haven't been at the level that we want and that we require. So no matter what job you have in football, that would be the case. It's a situation that we aren't enjoying, not winning football matches. I'm fortunate that I'm now sadly in my 50s.
Meanwhile, AC Milan Fikayo Tomori, West Ham Jarrod Bowen and Aston Villa James Ward-Prowse will all be missing in today's game, while Ivan Toney will be having his international debut. To leave you on sport news, championship side Watford has named Slaven Bilic as their new boss on an 18-month deal after sacking Rob Edwards just 11 games into his tenure. Edwards, 39, was appointed in May after leading Forest Green Rovers to promotion from League Two. He succeeded former England boss Roy Hodgson and became the Hornets' 8th permanent manager since 2018. Former West Ham and West Brom boss Bilic had been out of management since leaving Chinese club Beijing Guoan. And that's your sport news on World Now at 4. Back to Peace Ogenegbawe for the rest of the news. I'm Richard Badum.
Thank you so much, Richard. And that's the much you can take on World News at 4. But before we go, here are the headlines again. We told you that the federal government has hinted on bursary allowances as NUT prepares to celebrate World Teachers' Day. 5 people have been announced dead in a fighting between armed forces in Libya. In Italy, far right is on course to win election. And on sport, Watford appoints Croatian as it sacks Rob Edwards. Remember to visit us on Facebook at Hills TV, Instagram at Hills TV, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Hills TV. I am Peace Ogenegbawe. Thank you for watching.